Hi everybody and welcome to Betway's Six Nations preview. I'm Kevin Ferguson, it's Mark Keohane and Z, we call him Z. I can never pronounce his name right. Zellum now?
That'll do.
Okay, that'll do. Big game Friday, big game Friday, Wales versus France for all intents and purposes. It's for the title, isn't it, for France?
Yes and no. They win. They set themselves up to basically take the title if England lose.
Yeah.
But then Ireland would still have to. It could come down to them beating England because Ireland have only lost their one game as well. So it just keeps them as the favourites. But a big chance for redemption for the Welsh.
Yeah, Betway have it at about 8.5 points, so they think France are going to win by 9. Look. I think that Wales are getting stronger in the tournament. They've punched above their weight. They didn't look too bad against England, scoring 3 tries, conceding 1, and looked reasonably impressive. The French have a way of bottling things, and the last 2 times they've played in Wales, they haven't. I think they've won by 2 and 4 points. So they don't usually go to Wales and roll Wales over easily.
I don't think too many teams go to Wales and to Cardiff and roll them over, with the exception of the All Blacks, who tend to find something special in the Cardiff water. But yeah, an interesting thing, I've consistently been waiting for this French implosion, and
so was a lot of people. I think.
And then I kind of contacted Peter de Villiers, the South African-born prop who played 69 tests for France, 150 games for Stade Francais, won 5 domestic top 14 championships. Forward coach with the Box, now forward coach with Scotland. That was just after France had played Scotland in Murrayfield. And I asked him, are they the real deal? We're waiting for this implosion. And his response was, Gaultier, Laporte are winners. They've always been winners. And Dupont is leading a new generation of winners with the French, which they haven't had for 2 decades. 2 or 3 very unsuccessful under-20 sides. And he feels that it's the most consistent selection you've seen in a French national team in a long time, where there's 2 changes or there's 1 change and it's injury enforced, where the French side used to change 12 every test match. And so he said Laporte has worked very hard with the clubs to get them on side. Gaultier is getting 40-45 players at training sessions within the season, which is out of the norm, and that they just have a very good base at the moment, and they're kind of doing very simple things, and that this French team mirrors the successful French teams that Laporte coached and the successful ones that Gaultier captain, and then obviously Sean Edwards has been massive for them with discipline, their defensive structure and that. So his thing was, they're Latin, so anything can go wrong on the day, but it's the most impressive French side he's seen for a long time in terms of cohesion, and he says if they can just be grounded, they should definitely be favourites to win the Six Nations and be a contender for the World Cup. And on that basis, I said to him, okay, well, I've got to give them a crack this week. I'm going for them to beat Wales. First time I'm backing them this year.
You know what's going to happen.
And what spread, Mark? What points?
No, I think it will. 5 points. I think it will be a 1-score game. And I agree with you, Kev. Wales have got stronger as the tournament's progressed. Look, they bottled their 1 against Scotland at home. Should never have lost that. And
came close against England.
yeah, and to be 17-0 down against England where the momentum was with England, I just thought they had that stunning 10-minute period, and they were pushing hard. Another try in that period could have, England started to wobble a bit, and then, but they had 17 points was too much of a handicap at Twickenham. But I like what I've seen with the Welsh side, and they're getting back players every week.
Yeah.
Mark, can I just correct you there? We did beat Scotland.
Wales beat Scotland.
Yeah. No, you lost 23. Wales did beat Scotland. That's right. You beat Scotland.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the other one. Yeah. The first one that they bottled. Yeah. When they started their season, started the year.
Oh, we got hammered.
Yes.
Yeah, by
So yeah, apologies there, guys. Apologies to every Welshman out there.
They'll be on Twitter.
But I'm not backing you this weekend.
Look, I think that to go to England and to Twickenham and only lose by 4 points was a better effort than I thought it would be. And I think 8.5 is just too many points for France to beat England, to beat Wales by. So I like the 1.94 on offer from Betway on Wales to not lose by 8 or more.
Oh, yeah.
9 or more, sorry.
I'll
9 or
take
more.
that.
And also, Friday night games very different to a Sunday afternoon or Saturday evening, and it's just the mentality of playing on a Friday night, and you're still in the week. It's not like you go to bed Friday night and wow, now the weekend is coming. So, I think those factors and playing in Cardiff, it would be a hard ask for this French team to win emphatically as they did at Murrayfield, and again that game, things turn very quickly in a game. Scotland's coming back. They get it to 12-10. Counter-attack. Duane van der Merwe does it. All it needed was a short pass to Ali Price, and Stuart Hogg walks over. They try the long pass. He knocks it on, and a minute later, France scores. So 17-12, having been 12-3 up, 17-12 becomes 20-odd 10, and France doesn't look back in that second half. And what we haven't seen yet is this French team being put under pressure early and go behind, and I think if Wales start well, it'll be a hell of a interesting, but I just think there's too much class and there's been consistent selection, but certainly not a big win.
Yeah.
It's a one-score one.
So I like Kev's bet on the over on the margin, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Wales might just ambush France.
Yeah, I've got a feel. It could be gas. There's a bug going around. It could, but I've got a sneaky feeling that Wales might win this game.
I also
And what are the odds on an outright for Wales?
An outright is 4 point.
4.3.
4.4.
Is it?
Yeah, looking at my notes here, 4.4, and you win nothing if you put it on a French outright winner.
I think you get 27% return on your money.
So very generous odds on Wales at home.
Yeah, it is.
And Dupont was banged up in training this week.
Yeah, I know Pinot, he's out with COVID, and he's huge for that back three. So yeah, and it's...
So last year Wales won games they shouldn't have won, and this year they've kind of lost games they shouldn't have lost. I don't know.
Yeah, there was yellow cards in 2 of the games. I think it was to Ireland and Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. And we came back and won, because Scotland last year were hammering us, and then yellow card changed the flow of the game, and Wales came back and beat them. Yeah, so Wales are tough at home. There's no doubt about that. And like I said, they're getting stronger as the tournament goes on in terms of players coming back. It wouldn't shock me for them to win. Probably put a little tickle down at 4.4, but I will put a big bet down that they don't lose by 9 or more points.
And it's also, from our perspective, we play Wales 3 times this year as the Springboks. So that's the game that our South African public should also be watching very closely. 3 test series, one of the tests in Cape Town. Looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll be allowed into the ground at that stage. But yeah, I've kind of been pleasantly surprised at that Twickenham performance, especially in that second half. But kudos to France. I really thought that they were impressive in the way they closed out shut out Scotland in that second half. And having spoken to our good mate Peter de Villiers, I'm going to say he's a man who understands that French psyche more than most. And he's given them their dues, and on that basis, he has influenced my opinion. And I am back in the French to win, but narrowly.
Okay,
Get your bets.
Do you even want to discuss the Italy-Scotland game?
They are playing for a new trophy, but they should just be playing for the wooden spoon, because that's what they do every year, those 2 teams. But no, I think Scotland will blow them away quite comfortably.
Yeah.
25 points plus in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big one, Ireland against England, and Eddie Jones says Ireland the greatest team in the world, the most cohesive. But then, as someone said, if they were playing Jersey, he'd be saying they're great side Jersey on the eve of the match.
You sure would.
Dublin, I would have said very different.
Yeah.
Twickenham, it's still a fortress, eh? Twickenham, you've got to play bloody well to go there and win. And Eddie's they've always got a good pack. And I've also been impressed with how Marcus Smith has maintained. No one's got to him yet. He took some big hits on the weekend and he got up, and his kicking is outstanding. And I also thought Ireland just fell apart in Paris. Eh?
Well, yeah, they did. But I mean, the bookies have this one almost as a pick 'em. I think England are 2.10 and Ireland are 1.86.
Okay.
So it means that there's not much in the betting. I think Ireland are probably favoured by 1.5 points.
Yeah, I know they're leaning towards Ireland. I'm with you, Mark. I think England are the team to back in this. They're at Fortress Twickenham. Eddie's a man. He's never short of a plan. they've got this momentum, they've got their belief up. You know, it's Marcus Smith leading this revolution in England. He is sort of overhauling this team, reinventing them for the next World Cup. I don't feel like there's two. Ireland are still trying to decide who their 10 is. Is Johnny Sexton back? Is he the guy to do the job? What are they doing there? Yes, Ben Darwin and those guys always talk about cohesiveness, and I agree with it 1,000%. The guys that play together the most are the toughest to beat. But I don't think it gives Ireland the edge in this game.
I can't remember whenever an Irish side has gone to Twickenham and been the favourites. And I don't think they deserve the favourite tag based on their performance so far in the Six Nations. That French game was a huge eye opener. The minute a pack stood up to them, they looked half clueless.
Yeah.
And yes, they fought hard and they were brave, to quote Farrell. But I mean, he more than anyone knows, having been in the English setup, having played for them, how hard it is to go. And Ireland, this generation of Irish player has really stepped up at home, but they still haven't stepped up away from home.
No.
And that's why Paris was a reminder of why they've never gone past the quarterfinal in the World Cup. This one will be another challenge, and when they go and play the 3 tests in New Zealand this year, and they're already talking about just getting the 1. Now, are you going there to get 1 out of 3? Because you're going to win the World Cup, you've got to get 3 out of 3, because you play the equivalent of that 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And Johnny Sexton has said that he's retiring after the World Cup. He wants to go out on a high, and I'd love those tweets that said so. Quarterfinal is what he's aiming for, because they've never gone beyond that. That's his high. So yeah, I've got England to win that one, and I think they'll win it by 7+ points.
I've got them down for 6.
Well, yeah, it's tough. Ireland have won 10 out of 11. They've looked pretty good, and we're flattered to deceive in France. Just how good are France? How much credit should we give France? And how much criticism should we give Ireland for that? You know, England are formidable at home. Look, the bet I like is England to win by 5 or more at 2.90, almost 2 to 1.
I would go with that. You have my back in there, money man.
Thanks, mate.
The referee in that game is a French Matthew Reynal, and he lets the boys play, so it should be worth watching.
Yeah, I think England can front up physically to them, and like you say, it's a fortress. To beat England in England, it takes some doing.
And it also sets up La Crunch.
I was going to say.
So, you know, it would be great, France to lose, England to win,
doing it again.
and it goes down to the finale, and the Six Nations organisers say, forget the wooden spoon, this is the big game. And in Paris as well. And the key there again would be, how do France handle the pressure?
Spot on.
Because that's the expectation that's going to be on them in the World Cup, to win every game.
Yeah.
And last year they couldn't. They just had to beat Scotland at home, and they lost. Duan van der Merwe scored in the last minute, 69 I think the score was. So the improvement in this side is they beat Ireland when they were expected to beat Ireland. They were expected to struggle against Scotland, they pumped them emphatically.
Yeah.
They were expected to beat a struggling New Zealand side, and they beat them emphatically. So they've come good on everything.
Yeah.
But
they haven't had you back in them.
They haven't had me back in them, and for the first time I've put the Keo curse on them, and I'm back in them to beat Wales.
Let's see.
Yeah, look, I'll write my bets up in the next couple of days, but I like the odds of England with 2.9. You know, it's going to be a close game, and it wouldn't surprise me if Ireland pocks to win. But at those odds, I've got to play it. You know. Thanks, guys, for coming in and enlightening the people, the folks out there. And let's see who wins.
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you.
Wales!